Welcome to Zach Nevin's podcast. I have no clue what I'm doing, and this is my good friend Josh Shaw, also known as Modern Masterpiece Photography.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
So, Josh, tell us a little about you. We'll
A
start
little bit about myself. Okay. I started taking photographs around, I think 2012, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of these facts, because we started hanging out around then, and we started kind of taking pictures together in Chatham and Hudson, mainly Warren Street. And after that, I graduated high school, went to the Army. And then after that, I came home and I started my own photography company. I specialize in portraits and weddings. And then on the side, as a hobby, I do landscape photography and I try to sell prints. So yeah, that's what I do. And I've been doing that for, like I said, I probably started around 2012. So 8 years. I don't know, somewhere around that. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much the same as me. I think we started around the same exact time.
Yeah.
So, what got you into photography in the first place?
What got me into photography? All right. So I used to I still like hiking. I hiked all the time as a kid. So I would naturally hike on the back roads and stuff like that. So I got a camera and started recording my adventures on the back roads, I guess you could say. And then that's when that's around the same time we started hanging out, and then you shot sports, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of track and field and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then I was trying to get more into photography, so then we hung out and went to a track practice, and that was, I don't know when that was, but
Probably,
can you date it?
I'd say maybe 2013, 14, around there.
Yeah.
Since
Cool.
when I first got really heavy into photography, was my dad asked me, "Oh, Zach, do you want to go to your sister's track meet?"
Okay.
And he bought me either he bought me a camera or I had a camera laying around, and he said, "You want to come?" I said, "Sure." And then that's where I fell in love with photography.
Nice.
Because I get to meet people, hang out with people.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'll kind of piggyback off of what you said. Photography is kind of, and I'm still a beginner. We're both we're just still in the early stages of our careers, I guess you could say. But wow, I just totally lost my train of thought. So let's just whatever you can.
So we both started together pretty much around the same time. And some people will know me and you hang out probably once a week.
Yeah, like Saturday. It's always usually maybe Saturday or Sunday or something like that.
Or sometimes during the week.
Or during the week,
probably 100 times. Sometimes we do photography, and then there's a few times we've hung out just without a camera.
Right, yeah. Which is cool.
What else was I gonna say? Do you do anything else besides photography?
Like I kind of was saying before, I like hiking. I'm big in the outdoors. I kayak. In the winter months, I like to ski. I haven't been really into it too much now because of Corona, but I want to get back into it sometime.
Any other creative outlets?
Oh yeah, I paint as well. I started doing spray paint or spray paint kind of on canvas, and then that kind of transferred into, I want to use acrylic now and be that kind of guy. So then I started doing acrylic pours, and that was I found that interesting just to do on the side, just for fun. But
cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me also? This is more of a conversation podcast.
Okay. What? Wow. Okay, that's Luda. I have a little puppy. She's still in training, so she's gonna be barking maybe a little bit. But questions for you. I froze.
A little.
Am I frozen?
No, you're good now.
Okay, cool. All right. What's your favorite hike around here to go, or I don't know, maybe hike or trail or spot? I don't know.
I mean, my favorite spot in Columbia County is, I would say, Bird Sanctuary, as you know.
Right.
Because I love as soon as you go up to the rock, it's all moss, it's all rocks.
Right.
One thing that me and you found out, and also I found out online, is there's a porcupine that lives around there.
Yep, right in that little cave.
We have a little story about that, but another day for that.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, sounds good.
What else? So, what else do you like shooting besides nature?
besides nature. Well, I mean, I do portraits. I like shooting street as well. I mean, like we started shooting back in high school. We go to Warren Street, and I kind of, I don't know, I would shoot a lot of portraiture, but then on the opposite end, I just kind of liked shooting shadows on a building and just like kind of street architecture, kind of stuff like that. So I'm all over the place in terms of photography. I don't know. Still
And also,
finding my like niche, I guess.
and also
But
like me and you going on back roads all the time looking for crazy stuff.
right, right. Yeah,
And
I like finding things that like or going to places that other people haven't been. You know, that's like walking out in the woods, just going like straight out in the woods and like finding something interesting that nobody else has seen. You know, it's kind of cool.
and also it's like location scouting in a way for your portraits. So we drive
Right, right.
around or
Yep,
we get access to a place like, oh, it'd be cool for a portrait.
that's right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So it's like technically it's like working slash like more for fun.
Right. Yeah, like what was that? Remember that tour we did in Hudson together? What was it? We went to like was it the Bronson House?
Oh, the
The
Design
Bronson House?
Hudson.
Is
Yeah, the
that what?
Bronson House.
Yeah, yeah, like all that stuff too. Shooting like the architecture and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So,
So do you like the business side of photography, the service side, or do you like the more like nature stuff? And why?
do I like I don't know. See, I guess I'm in that kind of point in my career, I guess you could say that uh I'm trying to still kind of like figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I shoot weddings. I enjoy doing weddings and portraiture and stuff like that. But at the same time, I like being out in nature and just being, you know, just being out in the elements and shooting. I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. But
And you did a few weddings this year, right?
yeah, I did 2 in September, and they were packed weddings. They were fun weddings. It was kind of
Mm.
different in the Corona times. Kind of having to wear a mask for 8 hours and kind of just doing like mask breaks and always hand sanitizing and, you know, trying to keep a social distance. But I kind of wanted to end 2020 strong and not claim it as like a washout year, you know. So that's why I did some portraiture just on the side, just a couple shoots, and then I do like family photos and stuff on the side. So I got some gigs from that this year too. So it's not a bad year, not a bad year. But
So over your photography career or your journey, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
how have you grown as a person, you think?
how have I grown? I think I don't know my style. I guess I've kind of evolved my style and I've really improved in my composition. I will note on that because I used to just be like I've told you this before. I used to be the guy that like here's this here's this pie. Let me put it in the center of frame and there's the shot, you know. And now I kind of really think more about where I place things in my photos and taking things out and more of like I don't know, stuff like that. So I think I've grown in that aspect and just more stuff that I post too. So like I don't post as much as I did back in maybe like 2014, 2013, you know. I just like to post like the bangers, the good like the, you know, the A+ photos. So I'm very reserved. But
And also like how have you grown as a person as well?
socially, I think photography has taken me a couple different places. Like I shoot for an art residency um, in Austerlitz, and I don't know if I should name drop it on the podcast, so I'm just gonna leave it because I don't want to, you
That's fine.
know. But I get to meet artists every month from around the world, and me, I'm socially awkward. Like I'm very awkward, and I don't
Same
know.
here.
So talking to people and engaging with people and other artists, creatives is really like important to me, you know. And it's I like to pick other artists and people's brains about it, you know, just different subjects.
And like
So,
yeah.
their workflow,
Yeah, their workflow and
their yeah,
how they
yeah.
created a life for themselves.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, and I find it interesting because some people are like they're from the United States, but they're doing shows and exhibitions like around the world. You know, they're
That's
having
cool.
shows in like Tokyo and Hong Kong and like stuff like places like that. So it's pretty cool.
Who are some photographers you look up to, like dead or alive?
Inspirationally, I think I mean, you've called me like an Instagram photographer or Instagram style photographer, I guess you could say. But I like Samuel Elkins, Jessica Cabasi when it comes to portraiture, Short Stash. I'm just dropping like Instagram
It's
handles.
fine.
I like the moody kind of the mood in a
Yeah, your
photo.
picture's a
That's
little moody, yeah.
mine are always a little bit underexposed, and I like to really bring out the contrast because it really like strikes you and hits you, you know. So I think
And
that's where my
sometimes you play
style
with
is
the
kind of
colors too,
that yeah.
like
So
the
like
oranges.
I like to exaggerate too, a little bit when it comes to color, especially like now this time of year when it's so like gray and just very bleak. I'll really up the vibrant saturation in Lightroom, you know, or the vibrant slider in Lightroom to really make it pop. But
So speaking of Lightroom, what editing software do you use, and what do you use a lot more than the other?
so I mainly use Lightroom and Photoshop for like my main gigs, stuff like that. I toy around with Luminar 4, Capture One. I've used Premiere Pro before, but that's video, obviously. But um, I'm probably missing a couple. But I like to be very like informed and try all the software just to know what I'm doing. You know, just if the situation arises when I go to I go get on a set or go to a job and they're like, hey, edit this, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to use Capture One, you know, or something like that, you know. So
And also, you're experimenting with different things to figure out which
yeah,
one works, or if you're tired of one, you can always
right.
switch over.
See, I do a lot of like my weddings, for example. I'll edit in Lightroom, and then I'll do like the fine details, taking out the flyaway hairs.
1 second.
Um, what was I talking about?
So, where do you get your inspiration? No, I already said that.
You talk inspiration. Then we did editing software.
Okay.
What do you use?
So, what I use is mostly Lightroom for everything. I just
Okay.
use the basic sliders for the most part.
Hmm.
Whenever I want to be creative, maybe like once or twice a year, I'll play with Photoshop,
Hmm.
do something crazy,
Nice.
and I make it obvious, and I also say what it is if it's photoshopped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, I did a lightning picture one year where I took multiple frames of the
Mhm.
same location and I stitched them together. So there's multiple lightning strikes,
Right. That's awesome.
and then
Now
I
wait, what the photo with the lightning strike and the firework, was that one frame? Was
yeah,
that
so I was
all
a single.
that was all at the same time
So I have a picture of it.
for reference?
I don't have a picture on hand of it, but
Yeah.
that was
Go
a
to
single shot.
your website the thing.
Yeah,
So
it was a single shot, and I had the file to prove it too. So if anybody asks me, and
yeah, because
also
you showed me too.
And also, I think I told you as well that year that I
Mhm.
took that picture. I think it was 2 years ago now on National Geographic. A lightning shot with a volcano won.
Yeah, I
I
remember
was
that
like,
shot
I
too.
should have entered my firework and lightning shot.
Because I was thinking about that too. Because I remember I had like a subscription growing up to National Geographic, so I'd always get like the magazines in the mail. And I remember that exact picture, the one you're plastered. I think it was on the front of one of the National Geographics. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember that photo. It was crazy.
So
Well,
when you're doing your portraits and your weddings and stuff, do you bring any backdrops, or do you like to do it on location or in
all
studio?
natural, you know.
Yeah. Do you use
Yeah. So
flash or strobes at all?
okay. So multi question. Um, so for yeah, I tend to use natural light when I can. When I'm in a pinch and it's starting to be like twilight blue wow, I can't talk, blue hour, um I'll break out the flashes. I'll also use the flashes maybe for product product like shots, you know what I'm saying, just to get
Close
like
ups.
yeah, yeah. um but other than that, I tend to keep my portraits all natural. I would like to learn strobe just so I know how to, you know, because I don't really know a ton about strobe. um, and then what else? What else was the what other part?
And the other question I was going to ask is what kind of gear do you use?
The gear. So I shoot with the EOS R, and the Mark IV or 5D Mark IV, and I generally use a 35 prime 1.8 if I'm not mistaken, a 70 to 200 1 point or 70 to 200 2.8, and a 16-35 Mark III, and that I think drops down to 2.8. So I use those generally. The wide angle, the 16-35, I generally shoot most of my landscapes on, and then the 35 prime and the 70-200 I do portraiture and weddings with. That's like my go-to kit. So
what's your dream career, or
my dream?
if you woke up tomorrow and be like, oh, I'm doing what I love?
Yeah, sitting in a minivan. No, okay, no, sorry, not in a minivan, but like a compact,
a tiny house, or
tiny house on the road kind of thing.
like our friend Jordan Neves has
Yep.
A bus.
Yep. And something just like that, and just to go around exploring, and I just want to travel and just take photos and have Instagram and have a portfolio and do some exhibitions and shows a couple times a year. That is one side of the dream, and then the other side is like wedding photographer, portrait photographer. Like that's what I want to do. So I'm still kind of like mixed between the two. I think maybe I'll do like the wedding photographer gig for like years and work that up to something that I could do full time, and then eventually, like when I retire, or until like on the side until I retire, I'll do landscape stuff. So that's my goal set kind of thing.
Your direction you want to take.
Yeah. Yep. And I will add, I kind of want to go more freelance and not as much like modern masterpiece, just
you
because
want to change it to your name.
I think so. Just because I think it's easier. It's more recognizable. I think that's why a lot of people do it. And the reason why I originally did modern masterpiece photography was I wanted to be different. I just didn't want to have my name, but now I kind of just want to be like official Josh Shaw or something like that,
And it's much easier too.
Yeah. And I don't know. I might also I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to eventually combine it. So
like when I first started, I had like Zach Nevin in photography. I had Zach Nevin creative. I was like,
yeah, do you have all the business cards? Do you have all the cards of the,
I may have a few of them saved still.
Yeah.
But I never made one for Zach Nevin creative, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
That was more of an online thing.
Right.
But I now just have Zach Nevin as my business card to make life a little easier.
Now, where do you want to be in 10 years?
I mean,
that 10 years is a little quick. Let's say like 20 years, you're kind of getting to be where you want to be,
I mean, my dream that I tell everybody is I want to be a full-time artist at some point.
Full-time creative, full-time artist. Is that the same thing? I don't even know.
I mean, to me, I feel like it is the same thing. It's a mix of the same thing. I mean, pretty much it is. Creative and an artist is the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah.
And
that's why. Are you like Zach Nevin creative? Is that like your?
I mean, I got rid of that a while ago.
Okay, yeah, that's why.
I think just having my name Zach Nevin is much easier.
Yeah. I
1 second.
Sam Elkins, Becky, and Chris. Sorry, I'm dropping more inspirations.
All right, so the fun of having a dog.
Yes.
So the full-time artist, and then to me that seems like me making stuff like this,
right?
Making some original paintings as well, and doing prints and shows with my photography,
and primarily making your income off of selling just selling prints and doing shows and stuff like that.
And then I have thought about like doing like portraits and events as well, just to make more regular income.
Yep.
And I'm also interested in like investing in business stuff.
Right. But you're gonna hop on the Bitcoin,
I don't think that yet.
Yeah, I agree. But
I know people who like love that kind of stuff, but
yeah, can get really into it. I'm not one of those guys. I can't I mean, I'm sure people can talk for like 3 hours on a podcast about investing in cryptocurrency and doing all that stuff, but that is not my
moment.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
What apps do you use?
For what?
For investing, and you told me about like Robinhood, right?
I use Robinhood and Webull at the moment.
Webull.
But I might go to like Edward Jones or one of the bigger names.
Nice.
Or I might use a different app as well. Because my opinion with investing is invest in ETFs and also dividend stocks.
Let's break it down for the listeners.
Those are more likely. The make dividend is where the stock will pay you for investing in it. It can be monthly, quarterly, or yearly.
Mm-hmm.
So you can figure out which you want to get paid.
There you go. Nice.
So little business there.
There you go. Business tip from Zach Nevin. There you go. So, what other questions do you have?
No, I should have had a list.
That's it. We kicked the list.
So, it seems like a more like a sit down and just chat.
Okay, yeah. I could tell you about. I did a shoot this morning. I won't give away like a lot of details because I keep a lot of stuff hush hush. But I went down to the Hudson Boat Houses. Is that like the official name?
The official name for that is the Furgery.
The Furgery. Okay, that's right. So that's like a band. Like I don't know if people know what that is, but it's just like the boathouses down at the end of, was it North Front Street?
Yeah,
the street right there.
On the water of Hudson.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna go to the train station, but you go to the right and you go all the way down. Yeah, it's down there. You can launch your kayaks. So I did a photo shoot down there with a guy I do weekly photo shoots with, and it was pretty cool. Like it's still really abandoned, and this time of year, like all the foliage and stuff is like off of all the stuff on the bank, so you can really see the boathouses that are like I don't know, collapsing into the river. Yeah. So I got a couple pictures of that, and then we did the shoot, and then we went over to the train station, and I was like, I don't know if you can smoke like right outside the train station. Like I don't know the rules, stuff like that. Yeah. So I went in and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I'm doing a photo shoot. Can he smoke out there? And he's like, are you outside? And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, that's fine. So he let us do it, and we timed it just right. There was a train coming by. So you got the Amtrak train coming in with him smoking on the rail. It looked pretty cool.
Like he's a tourist or yeah, he's like going to the city or something.
Yeah.
For his train.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. The shots came out really nice, so I'm excited to I've seen the shots, haven't really edited too much, but I'm excited.
So after you take your pictures, how long until you edit them? Is it like that, or is it?
It really depends. Like today, like if I have time, I'll just knock them out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I'll edit. I'll leave them for a little bit, a couple hours. I'll come back. Sometimes I'll like a wedding. I might edit some photos and then wait like a half a day, and then go back to them just for like a fresh look and a fresh perspective. Because I think when you're editing, that's like really important, especially in bulk. Because like you don't want to get to the last photo and be like burnt out and everything's messed up, and so I think that's
for me. Whenever I did like a senior picture,
mm-hmm.
I think a few weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
or 2 weeks ago now,
mm-hmm.
and as soon as I take the picture, for me, I just edit right away. And the session or gig, whatever you want to call it, is over.
Yeah, I understand that. So you don't have like an open kind of account kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
don't forget about it. It's right there, right in front of you.
Yeah, because it's like harder with like, for example, when you're doing it with like weddings, you have editing, but then on the flip side, like I'll edit, give the photos to the couple so they can like post them, send them out, do whatever they want with them, and then I do the prints and whatever else is included in the package, and that's kind of like, that's why it takes a little bit longer. So like I did the weddings in September. I'm still waiting for like the photo books and like the framed print to come in. Like that's like big stuff, so it's understandable. But,
so you do like packages for each.
Yeah. Yeah, I do packages for weddings. So so that's why it takes a little bit longer. I'll edit, give the photos right away, but then the packages take a little bit longer, which is understandable.
Yes. Because labs take their time.
Yeah, especially with like COVID now, a lot of stuff is like delayed and backed up. And
especially now, since it's around Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas, and then everybody just had their weddings, so like everything's jam-packed.
The mail right now, the mails are like crazy.
Yeah,
and the election too.
It's a good yeah, wild.
Very busy year for the
Postal Service.
Postal Service and like FedEx and all those guys.
It's crazy. So what else have you been up to?
Um,
You've been
not
painting at all?
much. Painting a little.
What's your current work theme style?
My current for my original stuff, I'm doing a lot more like landscapes and using hard edge lines.
Nice.
So and also like putting something in the middle too.
Okay, cool.
And also since you know my love for barns and
Yeah.
probably some of my followers will know, I'm adding some barns in there as well.
Nice. That's
And my
cool.
style is very abstract, as you can tell.
Yeah, and then you started. What was your first Star X's? That X kind of painted
the
design kind of thing that you had?
Yeah, the X's were
Do
my
you have any of those?
first, and then I'm staring at some of my artwork. That's why I'm looking over this way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, my X's were first, and that's how I first started like painting.
Mhm.
I was like bored one day. I was like, let me try something. So I just did these X's,
Yeah.
and
That's
then
how I kind of got into spray painting. I was just like, I'm bored. I have spray painting. Let me just try it.
just see what it turns into.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was X's. Then it went to I call it modernized series, where I paint on top of other people's work and also my own. And that also started when my dad bought a whole guy's art or frame collection. He
All
bought
the
like
frames and stuff. Yeah. How
200,
many?
either 200 or 400 like frames, all different sizes.
That's wild.
So I kept some of the art that was inside, and one was a massive tree. I'm staring at right there,
Mhm.
and I just started painting. It was like a very really dark, like something that you would photograph, a really moody, dark photograph.
Mhm.
But I just painted the background and left the main tree in original color.
Mhm.
And then I also started painting on top of my own photographs.
Photos.
I
Yeah.
had like sitting in my closet.
Nice.
I was like, when I just figured out how to, it's like in a way when I'm like modernizing, as I call it, I'm pretty much doing painting the paint version of Photoshop.
Yeah.
In a sense, I'm painting
Yeah.
on top of my work, which you can easily do in Photoshop.
Yeah. That's fair.
So
What
it's
else
like
you
real
got?
Photoshop in a sense.
What else you got?
It's,
What about your Gary V? You listen to Gary V, right? You're
yeah,
big into, like collecting, going to garage sales, going to
and that's what I do a
savvy.
lot. Yeah, go to garage sales a lot. Mostly looking for art, but
Mhm.
now since like baseball cards and all that, like Pokemon cards especially,
Pokemon. Yeah.
like going skyrocketing.
What about Yu-Gi-Oh? Are Yu-Gi-Oh cards like in, or are they like a third party? Like,
I
yeah,
mean,
you got them, man.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon cards, mostly that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is worth like if it's graded a 10,
Hmm.
it's like
It's
worth
wild, right? Isn't
yeah.
it?
But it has to be a certain thing. Like a graded 10 Charizard, a PSA graded 10
Hmm.
is like over $10,000.
Now, how do they grade them? How do they come up with a?
So for PSA, for there's like PSA, Beckett, and one other company.
Mhm.
So you knew if you have a baseball card, I don't have anything with me, and you send it away to the company,
Yep.
and what they do is they look over the card with like a microscope.
So they look
Sure, there's
for quality.
no breaks, no cuts, no anything, no white showing anywhere.
Okay. Nice.
And a 10 is the best, and a
Nice.
1 is
It's obviously the worst.
like
Yeah.
crumpled up.
Garbage.
Yes, pretty much. Like I saw somebody posted a picture of a graded 1 Michael Jordan card.
Hmm.
It's like crumpled up. I was like,
Went halfway through a shredder.
it was like broken.
Yeah, yeah. Jesus.
And also like, yeah, graded 10 is the best, of course. Sometimes for older cards,
Hmm.
like the 50s and lower,
Yeah.
even if those are graded as 6,
They're still
they're
worth
worth
something.
something.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because like I mean, the 90s are still like relatively new in terms of like cards and stuff. But I still have like I think it's like 1990 set of like football cards. I don't know what it was. It's like up in my I don't know, but it's pretty cool. I might go through them just to check them out.
And also even modern day cards are like some of them were worth like hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like for brand new cards.
Yeah, it's
Because
pretty wild.
for
And
in
what
a
people
way,
spend on them.
Yeah, it's like in a way, cards now, especially modern day cards, it's
Mhm.
like gambling in a way. Because you're not knowing what the player's gonna do in 5 years. Is he gonna take
Right.
off? Is he gonna hurt
Right.
himself? Well, if
Yeah,
you're
because
investing
you're really like investing in the person when you're investing in a card. You
in a
know what I'm
modern
saying?
day card,
In a
yeah.
modern day, yeah, in a modern day card,
For
yeah.
older cards, they're pretty much retired already. Like I have
Right, right. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Randy Johnson card. He doesn't play anymore,
Mhm.
but that
Yeah.
card's worth some money
Yeah.
if graded a 10.
Are you into sports? Are you a big into
Not much
sports?
anymore what they used
You're
to.
not you're not into the sport. You're into the game. You're not into the
Yes, I'm in the
what
money.
yeah into the hustle game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's also like crazy to think, especially like Pokemon. Like we grew up as kids, we played on the Game Boy.
Yeah, I remember having like was it the Game Boy SP, the little square that opened up, and I was playing on with the little Game Boy games. Yeah, wild playing. I don't even know what the Pokemon were, or what the games were back then, but
And also like back in the cards, my
yeah,
babysitter gave me like her old collection.
collection. Yeah,
If I still had that thing, how much money that would be. But I do
worth
remember
it.
when she gave it to me, or maybe when I was mad one day. This is when I was
Hmm.
like 10 or maybe around the age of 10.
Hmm.
I would draw on them. It's like now thinking back, I was like, I wish I kept all my toys that were. I mean, in toys, you never know what the
Right.
value is.
You
Like I
don't
had
know what's
I
gonna.
had laser tag guns. They
Mhm.
were you didn't have to wear anything. Everything was built into the gun,
Into the guns. I
and
remember
one was
I think I had
broken.
the same things. Yeah.
They were like Phoenix by Hasbro,
Hmm.
and I looked at the prices one day a few years ago. I think my uncle bought them for me. I think they
Hmm.
were like 75 back then.
Hmm.
Now they're like $200. And
Jesus.
then I asked
Yeah.
my neighbor who I gave them to.
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, when you're like young, you don't play with your toys anymore. You like give them away pretty much. Just
Right.
throw them
You
away.
don't think anything of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So as soon as I found out the price, I was like, "Do you still have those?" And of
That's
course, he gave
crazy.
them to some kid.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Trying to think of what else.
do you do
Think
anything
of
for or how do you stay productive or
Hmm. That's a bit like during the winter time, that's my biggest struggle is like with everything, like I said before, right now it starts to become kind of bleak, very gray, gross, especially once it gets slushy and snow, you know. Um, I try to do photography, but then at the same time, I think it's important to also step back and like have self-care. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of not always have your camera with you. And I know you'll probably disagree with me with that because like I always need my camera. You know, there's always action, whatever. But like I think it's nice sometimes to just like sit back and be like, okay, I'm not the photographer right now. I'm like, especially when I'm at like an event. Like if I'm at a wedding, it'd be nice to just sit at a wedding and be in a experience the wedding and not have to like take the photos,
and I'm
So
the total opposite. I
yeah, yeah,
I don't leave home without it pretty much.
yep,
Besides my phone. I mean, if I have to go somewhere quickly,
hmm,
I'll have my phone with me.
yeah,
I do want to get a like a point and shoot
hmm. Just
for
a
my
small one to
car.
keep with you.
Yeah, just to
Yeah,
keep my car.
yeah,
But I pretty much don't leave home without it. Like even my parents go on a trip or help me out with the delivery,
hmm,
I bring my camera with me.
yeah. I think it's. I mean, I guess I'll back it up a little bit. I I agree. Like it's important to have your camera and to be like ready and stuff. But at the same time, I think it's also important to just step away just a little bit sometimes. I don't know.
Because you
That's my
also play
opinion.
like games too, right? Like video
Yeah,
games.
I
Yeah.
play Xbox. Yeah, I have a group of friends that I play with Xbox and
And you
other stuff like that too.
stream
And I
too.
stream on Twitch. Yeah, I'm not that famous, so I'm not gonna drop it, but drop my Twitch name. But
You're not at
yeah, I'm not at pro level yet.
ninja level or
Ninja
any of
level.
those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, wild. But
Do you want to ever grow that bigger, or just do Twitch and games for fun?
I think just Twitch and games are fun. The main reason I got into Twitch and like wanted to stream a little bit was just because I was doing it anyway. So why not just stream the stuff that I'm already doing, you know? So that was my biggest thing. And if like people want to watch it, they can. If they don't, I'm not gonna put like 50% of my time into gaming. That's like not something that's like a big priority.
What's the max viewers you've had?
Jesus.
100?
10. 10, like while I'm live streaming, probably 10. But so that's why I didn't drop
Your
it.
10 fans.
Yeah, my 10 fans. But now you can see why I didn't drop my handle.
You can always add it later.
Yeah, it's okay. So what are we at right now? What's the time?
I think it's 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want to make it a whole hour, or do you want to?
I can keep talking. I don't mind.
All right, cool.
I have no clue what I'm doing with this.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think of what else I can. Oh, I could show you my $600 paperweight, my underwater. Remember this thing?
Yep.
It's for my Mark. It's for my Mark IV, and it doesn't work. The trigger button doesn't work. Or sorry, shutter button doesn't work. So it doesn't hit the button inside. And I tried like adding different things or like doing different things. It just doesn't work. So guess what? It sits up on here. It looks cool. It's paperweight.
You can look at it and like, oh, that's how I'm wasting $600.
Yeah, and the whole thing was I called the company, and the company was like, well, the warranty voids when you open it. So once I open the seal and break the seal, to put my camera in, it's warranty's gone. So
you buy it off Amazon, you can do returns on Amazon no matter what.
Well, that's what I was thinking, but then like even with the company was like, nah. So whatever. It's here. It looks cool. I might.
You can always sell it down the line to somebody whose camera fits it better.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's made for that model. It just doesn't. Like if it doesn't work for my model, maybe it'll work on. It says Mark III and Mark IV, so maybe it'll work with the Mark III. Maybe I'll try selling it. I don't know.
Make your money back at least, or something.
Make like something out of it instead of being a paperweight, But do you have a notebook? Do you write your ideas in? Do you like write? Do you write your stuff down like while you're during the day? You're like, oh, maybe I should write that down, kind of thing.
I mean, sometimes whenever I have an idea, I'll write it in a sketchbook like this.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Wait, it blends in.
This?
There's like a hole in the. Yeah, it goes to your background. That's fine. Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
So sometimes I'll write some notes in here, or in a few like business ideas I had in my head. I type those out.
Nice. Yeah, I
have a few journals I write it in.
This is my, was it Jay Shaw workbook? Just a piece of masking tape on a book, and that's where I do my photo shoots, my ideas, all that stuff. So.
You ever write down your settings? I know like now all our metadata is saved in the camera.
Yeah, I don't write down my settings. That's just for the whole reason what you just said. Yeah. Just because the one thing I do wish was on my EOS R that's not on the Mark IV that's really useful is the GPS. Having the GPS data.
Yeah, that one time me and you went out and you did it and you showed me it afterwards.
Yeah, like you can literally go on Lightroom, pull up the map, and I can zoom out all of Hudson Valley so you're looking at Hudson Valley and all the places. And if
then when you zoomed in at one time, you can see the exact.
You can see the exact location of each photo, and that's wild, yeah.
And it needs no internet. That's the crazy thing.
Right, and that's why I want to use.
Yes.
That's why I want to upgrade to the R5, because yes, it's more expensive and whatever, but like it has built-in GPS and it's mirrorless. So, but it's nothing knocking the EOS R. I use it mostly for my portraits. It's my workhorse camera now. It's kind of retired the Mark IV just because it's a little bit better, but I don't know. In my opinion, people shit on it and say, you're gonna have to cut it. You're gonna have to cut it. All right.
So
I made it 40 minutes without swearing. That's probably a record.
So you're a Canon guy, right?
I'm a Canon guy through and through. And what do you call it?
What's that small one?
Rokin, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah.
You had that little small one you brought with you one time.
Yeah, it's like a super wide. Was it a 12 millimeter, and is there 11? I don't know. There was that much of a fine difference where it makes it like a fisheye to like a wide angle. So I don't know.
That's
But
weird.
yeah. But yeah, I'm a Canon guy through and through. I know you shoot Sony, right?
Yeah, I shoot Canon and Sony.
Canon, so yeah.
Mostly Sony. I bring the thing everywhere.
Yeah. The
And
only
I
bad thing is the
leave the kit
batteries.
lens on. So
Yeah.
even
Like
though
it's,
everyone like hates the kit lens, it's like it's there. I mean
yeah.
I haven't used my Canon kit lens in a while
Mhm.
because I mostly use my Canon for the long and for my 50.
Now,
But I mean I've
what
used
is
it.
that? What does the kit lens drop down to?
I think the kit lens is for Sony it's 16 to 55 or 50,
Yeah.
and then for Canon it's 18 to 55.
1855. And then what's your f-stop? What's the
That
you don't know? Okay. Yeah,
I
because
think
mine
for the Sony is 4.5 around there.
okay, nice. I I generally shoot everything. Well, not everything. I can't say everything, but most stuff in 2.8. I like the dreamy kind of blurred out look.
The bulk
And
of
I know,
background.
yeah, and I know some people hate it. Okay, don't care. That's my style. Um, and I think it looks it when the subject is when it stands out and there's a blurry background, I think that looks nice, especially like when it comes to senior portraits
Yeah,
or
for
like
portraits, yeah.
yeah,
It
because
really collapse the background.
yeah, and that's why I like using the 70 to 200 too, because there's a lot of compression with that lens, so you get some really sick shots. So
Yeah, that's why I like my 80
pro
to
tip,
my
yeah,
80 to 200 does the same thing.
yeah.
Any long lens will do it, but
Because I never really shot with the 70 to 200. I would always bring it with me to my portrait shoots, but I would just be like, don't need it, don't need it. I'll just be up close with the 35 prime. But it,
it's a different way of shooting, like being close to somebody like this close.
yeah, and with
That's more
COVID
for
now,
events for me and
yeah,
street. Like in New York City, I've been like this close and shoot somebody. I
yeah,
mean, not shoot them, photograph
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I remember you telling me that because I remember like the both of us when we first started out, we were very like I
Nervous.
don't know, nervous to ask people for their photo on Warren Street and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I think once we both got past that barrier, and I still struggle with it. I mean, I think there's like I think all photographers. I think there's a sense of I don't want to be creepy. I'm not trying to be creepy, but I want to catch the moment. Um,
Because I know you've done that more than I have. Is
what
ask.
walk up to somebody? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I think it. I don't know. Cause I'd rather like ask them and them be like, okay, it's fine, than like stand in front of them and take the photo and then be like, start swearing at me. So
Yeah. And also, like, you're more into doing portraits than
yeah,
doing street stuff.
yeah. And I don't know, like
And also,
it
like, with doing portraits, like, um, you used to you showed me some New York City stuff you did of like homeless people,
Yep.
and
And
you
that's
talk
one of
to
those
them
things
first.
too. That's one of those things too. I'll mention like it was a homeless person. It was a girl. I think she was in college, but then and her parents threw her out, but she couldn't afford it, so she's like on the streets, couldn't afford anything. And like I asked her, I was like, "Can I come up? Can I photograph you?" And she's like, "Sure." So I sat down, talked with her a little bit, and that was, I think
Yeah.
when you like make it personal, and you get out, you actually talk with them and see how they're doing and whatever. I think they're more inclined to actually, have you take the photo. But at the same time, like that's not my intent. Like I'd still talk to them and see if they were okay, and even if they said no, for the
Yeah.
photo.
And like that's like an ethic or whatever you want to call it. With photography.
Ethical, yeah,
If ever you see like a street performer and you want to photograph them,
yeah.
you don't just take their picture. You gotta
Well,
pull
actually,
money first and then take the picture.
yes and no. I'll if you're in a crowded market and you're taking photos and you're
No, I
I'm
mean
not gonna
a street performer.
yeah. If there's a bunch of performers around. I think if there's multiple, I like if I'm given to every like I think it's like I don't know, but that's a rare case anyway because I
Yeah. And
but
especially like now for the first, in my opinion, for the whole pandemic, it's
mhm,
going to take 2 to 3 years after the vaccine is given out.
yep,
It's still going to take people a little while to get back into the swing of things,
into the whole thing. Yeah,
but it'll never ever be the same like it used to.
no,
Like
yeah, that's the crazy part.
like last year will never happen again if you can think of that.
hmm
People are going to
And
act differently. Like shopping online went up, like interaction,
Well,
like Zoom, like
that's the
this.
thing.
This
Kids
went
don't
up.
have snow days now.
Yeah.
Kids can't have snow days. I mean, some districts will still do it, whatever.
And
But
also when there's a power outage, there's like stuff like that.
yeah,
It's like when we were in school, whenever there was no school, we went outside.
yeah, yep. But now it's crazy. It's crazy how things change with just in like 10 years.
Especially with technology now, like
Mhm.
especially like your cameras are like brand new,
Right.
or like
Yeah.
it's like they're a few years apart. That's like how fast technology changes.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing of just like the difference in just like this short amount of time. So, but cool. What else? You got anything else?
Do you have any questions for me that you know
Any
that somebody
questions
else might
for
not
you?
know, or
I'll ask some photography questions. So then, if we have some like photographers on here, we'll just what do you generally shoot your family photos at in terms of f-stop? What's your like rule?
I mean, I'm doing one next month.
Mm-hmm.
So for that one, I'm just gonna be in the studio since it's cold outside and I don't want to stand
Nice.
outside.
Yeah. Makes
And I
sense.
think it's like 5 or 6.
Nice.
And for all my studio work,
Mhm.
I usually shoot at f8 to 13,
Okay.
roughly around there. Because I do some product stuff in there, like artwork.
Right. Yep.
So I usually keep my f-stop around there, and in the studio, I don't have high speed in there.
Right.
So I keep my shutter around 100th of a second, 1/25th around there, and my ISO is like always 100.
And are you free shooting or is it on tripod?
For artwork, for doing somebody else's artwork, I always do tripod.
Yep.
For doing my stuff, I never use the tripod.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm the same way.
A really important piece like the Obama I did.
Yep.
I wanted to like have like a really remembrance of it.
Right.
Then everything else, I can always make prints
Mhm.
and stuff with it. That's why I wanted to make sure it was professionally shot.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, all for my smaller stuff, I don't care. I mean, maybe I'll do a print down the line. I can always crop it.
Yeah.
But
That's
for any client work for portraits and for artwork, it's always tripod. And the other thing I've done with artwork, especially with glass or like varnish or of any kind, I always put a black cloth over the tripod, so it lessens the chance of it showing up in the print.
Okay. Yeah. Like the reflection. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, reflection or glare of the tripod.
Yeah. Yep.
So
cool. What else can I ask you? What do you have a favorite lens? I know we talked about lenses a little bit, but do you have a favorite one that you
for
like
me, since both my cameras are cropped, I love my 50. So technically my 50 is an 85.
85, yeah.
So whenever I do go full frame, I'm going to get a 35, a 50, and an 85 in the classic lenses.
Nice, yeah.
Because I feel like most of my stuff that I shoot is like trees, abandoned stuff like that.
See, I'm like looking at the RF lenses, but I don't I mean, they're expensive, but they just came out. I saw an RF. I don't know if it's released yet, but I saw like a review video of it. The RF 100 to 400, I think it was. It looks nice. It's pretty like huge compared to like a mirrorless camera on there, but like it's pretty nice. Like just the quality. And that's what I want. I have a 70 to 200, but if I could get out a little bit farther, like just to get that quality where I could crop it in a little bit further, that would be nice.
Like my dad's friend, I think I tell you the story. She shoots mostly like wildlife birds and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure she has a 600 prime. And I think it's like
600 prime. That's wild.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think she must have like 2 tripods holding it up. Like that's wild.
She's crazy. She has it because she like does like this like professionally, like
Mhm.
just mostly like nature stuff,
Mhm.
and she has like ghillie suit.
That's wild.
So she goes to
That's pretty cool though. She probably feels badass doing it.
goes to like a nature park, like a public
Yeah,
park, and
just in
hides
a
in the
ghillie
woods.
suit. People probably think she's hunting. She probably gets screamed at all the time.
Massive lens.
That's wild. Yeah, like I don't know what do they have what is it? 1,000 lens?
I know
I
you
know
can.
they have like the cheap ones, the cheap 1,000 ones, but
I
I
mean,
don't know
that
if you
kind
can
of stuff
find.
you can like some point and shoots. You can go to like 1,000x.
Jesus. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, like even point and shoots now, like some of the Sony point and shoots are like really good quality.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty good quality. Because
Like
like the
when
sensors are nice. Yeah.
my first point and shoot was like maybe like a 12, maybe less than a 12 megapixel, and I
I
brought
mean,
that everywhere.
like I didn't have a point and shoot, but I started out on the Canon T3
Yeah,
and 12 megapixels.
yeah.
Little like I tried taking I mean I can take photos with it, but I tried taking like a nice photo with it, and I was like, just looking at the back of the camera, just with the screen, it just looks bad. The quality's probably good, but just looking at it from the screen is weird.
Yeah, I think we both started with the same camera, like
Yeah, the T3, right?
the
Both of the
T3.
T3, yeah. That's
Only
cool.
if we have the eye, we can have the flip screen.
Yes, yeah. Because like I had the
Your next
T6i,
camera was like a T6 or something, something like that.
T6i, yep.
You
And that
wanted the
was the
full screen.
yep. And then and like on my EOSR now, that's what I like about it. I can flip out the screen and literally like get right on the ground, get right down on the ground. It's pretty nice.
Right in the middle of the street shot.
Yep. Yeah. That's like it, you can get nice and low for it.
Instead of laying in the street, you can just go.
You got yeah. Less time, less chance of getting hit. But yeah, that's cool. Are we at an hour?
Sure.
Sure. What is that? 55 minutes?
Almost an hour.
What is it?
58.
58. Okay. Nice.
Any other last minute questions we got? No.
Questions, comments, concerns.
It's pretty much it's hard doing it with you since we both know each other.
Yeah, because like it's hard. Yeah, I mean, if you're interviewing like somebody else, another creative or something, somebody that you don't know, it's more engaging. You know?
We both know each other. Like we're like brothers. We know
Yeah, it's
everything.
like I know that story. I know your camera. Yeah.
You
So,
know what
but
I
it's still
do.
cool though. It's still cool though.
That's true. What else? Oh yeah, and any projects coming up for you? Any like
Projects. Oh God, hang on. Let me get away. I have. Um, so it's called the MO project. It's kind of weird. It stands for Maureen. I think it's O'Connell. Maureen O'Connell. My great aunt. She took photos. She's a photographer, um, and she took photos in Hawaii and just like family photos and stuff. And I'm gonna have those like they're on like the slide film. I'm gonna have those transferred digitally, and I'm gonna kind of edit a little bit, make them touch them up a little bit, and that's gonna be the project. It'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna eventually give them to my grandparents just so they can see them and stuff. I think it'll be cool.
so
Um,
like a discovering and a photographer kind of thing. Like kind of like
yeah.
the guy that discovered Vivian Meyer.
Hmm.
He bought all her stuff pretty much, and he just sat there and scanned, and he's still scanning to this day, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's like that's what I want to do with that. I was gonna do like actually I'm gonna do a veterans project at some point. I don't know how it's gonna be. We've talked about it a
Yeah.
bunch, but I don't know how it's gonna be structured. But I'd like to do it from different like eras, and eventually at the end have all the veterans come together and maybe do like a Q&A or just like a talk thing. I don't know, and I'll record it. And if you want to help me out with that, you could too.
Yeah.
Um, I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be different, and then along with that, I'd get pictures of each veteran and doing their kind of unique. Wow, I can't talk. Doing their unique thing, like kind of like if, like let's say one of them reloads ammunition, like does gun stuff. I'll have him, with his workbench doing that and stuff like that, and then I'll have him maybe with something militarily related, you know. So
Well, against
I have a
picture
couple.
uniform kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant by that. But yeah, so those are my two things. I have like two more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So
So at least you got some projects coming up.
I have some stuff coming up. So and I'm also gonna try to do a book, like Hudson Valley Travels, Hudson Valley Official Joshua something book, in January or February. So
That's cool.
look out for that too. Yeah. So
like a single series book.
Yeah, I have actually. Let me see if I can. Do I have it? I don't have it right off, but so it'll probably be like a 5x7 or maybe an 8x10, something like that kind of book.
I do a book every year, like a portfolio and review.
Yeah, and that I'd like to do those too. But I'd like to eventually like do the book and sell it, make a couple copies, and then start selling. So see how it does. See if people like it. I don't know.
Yeah, like I did a book on UNESCO hockey one year.
That's right.
Yep. Single series book.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's cool. Yeah, you used to shoot that all the time, right?
Yeah.
How many years did you do that?
I think I did that for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
The same group of guys, the same place. So I was like, it got boring after a while.
Yeah, because like I could see how it could get boring. Just like after.
Pretty much shot every angle of the place. Yeah. I like hang my camera down below.
You probably every photo began to look the same kind of thing. Yeah.
And where they played was at the Morris in Chatham. There's not many other places above, and there's 2 doorways.
Right. At least you could get like the above shots though. That was like the benefit of having the track up there.
Yeah. And there was one like cubby where the basketballs are. That was like I think 3, 4.
The only spot you could sit. Yeah.
Yeah. Send the GoPro up. I did a video. I did everything I could.
It was cool though. I mean, I went once or twice throughout your whole stint of photographing that, but I never really got into it too much. I went like, I thought it was cool. I got maybe like 1 or 2 shots, but it's cool.
You're not into sports photography as much.
That's one of those things that I just don't really mess with too much. I did photograph, or I have previously photographed some like horse riding events, but that was like back in high school.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's see.